We are live. I'm Ronnie Harris of the Limitless channel, and I'm here with Jason Laufenberg of Awake Souls. How you doing, brother?
I'm here, bro. I am still here. Uh, couple couple days after the inauguration, and still here, still here. Yeah, totally. We're gonna talk about some stuff tonight that might make people think that we're some sort of like Q-tards, but we are not. We just see the opposition. We see their narrative, and we think it's still in play, and we're going to be talking about it. What about you, brother? How's your week going? Where do you see us at right now?
Well, so yeah, I've had an up and down week. I'm happy, as always, fighting for the truth. I noticed that I had a big boost today. I changed the thumbnail and I put the transcript in my latest video in the description if anybody wants to read what I had said. Like I said, it just came to me, that message, and I shared it with all you guys. This isn't about me. This is about the show. The truth. It's not a show. These are podcasts. We're not, we don't call it shows, right, bro?
Yeah, no, we chose to not go with that term because we understand that most shows are things that are
Psyops.
pre-produced, that they have an agenda at play, and
So,
all that kind of stuff.
so what we're going to do tonight is, hopefully the sound is good. I haven't got a sound check from the audience, friends. What we're going to do tonight, I'm going to show you two sides of the PSYOP. I'm going to show you the one side of the PSYOP where you've got the QAnon trust the plan move, right? With the, whizzed on breadcrumb trails that everyone's been following for 4.5 years. The other side is going to be the anti-Ashkenazi white pride movement. I guess you could call them that. What they really care about is basically protecting American values, right? At the core of their message. Now, both sides have opposite agendas, and I'm going to clearly be able to show you both sides clearly lying, clearly twisting the agenda to suit their purpose. We're going to go through High Impact Flicks. His name's Brian. We're going to go through his stuff. We've got Adam from No More News. We're going to go through some of his stuff, as well as we got an N We Know video. It's pretty big. His video is the one where you get the plan coming from, I guess you would call them the true Q-tards, right? The title of his video is Our Plans Are Not God's Plans. The end won't be for everyone. Pray, which is absolutely true. This is something that we've been saying for so long, that only people with righteous hearts, and definitely we know for sure that anyone that calls upon the true name of Yahushua for salvation, they're getting into the next stage, which is 1,000-year reign in the kingdom with Yahushua as the king and ruler over this place. That's where we're headed. So his title. He's talking about God. This guy's an ex-military Marine. I think he's a lieutenant sergeant or sergeant master, right, Jay? Did you want to add anything before I keep rambling?
No, it's this video that you're going to share from. This is basically the main channel for the Q-tards.
Yeah.
And so he was taken off of YouTube. He's on some other site. We're going to be going through that video. This is the COINTEL narrative, I guess, that is playing. They are the pull the rug crew. So it was mentioned before that with this inauguration, I had sort of thought that they were going to do pull the rug.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody in the chat said that would have sort of validated the Q-tards.
Sure.
And so
mm-hmm.
we heard all the backlash as soon as the inauguration took place against Q, that they like they were being called out for all these false narratives that they've been strewing along for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And the I'm trying to find where I was going with this. I'm close. The narrative that Q has been pushing, we thought was going to be done, absolutely done. I finally found it. And then this guy all of a sudden comes back with his big video where he doesn't normally do them like this. He's got this big video that is the after the inauguration Q story. And so we're going to be going through that. There's a couple things in it that they're obvious mistruths. And I want to make sure that we point that out, that this video that we're going to be going through from him, which I think, I mean, you've got some other great clips, but I think it's really got the bulk of the narrative going forward, that there's some obvious missteps in the video that I think were probably placed there as far as debunkability. Like, these things are such obvious mistruths that most of the time when somebody has shown something like that, they just dismiss the entire message. I still think that there's validity within the message, and that's how they do that. So we're going to try to go through all this in a quick way where we point out both the good, the bad, and it's always coming from our perspective. So hope everybody understands the truths that we stand on, why we do it, and how coming from this perspective, this is the way things look. So we'll be going through it like that.
Yeah, well, basically what you were just outlining was the fact that people put discreditable things into their content so that you can throw out the rest of the story, right? That's what they do. There's other key things that I want to point out. That's people collecting donations are paid for hire. If you donate enough to them and tell them that you want them to say this, that's generally what they're going to say. As well, the Q guy also has commercials and advertisements. He's selling all this stuff in his videos and proclaiming to be, of the truth. And the truth is freely given. It's not something that you monetize. That's something that we have been staunch opponents to, right?
Quick thing I'd like to throw in is that all these guys tend to be military. They have some sort of military background, and they all seem to be big God and Jesus promoters. And people that have been following along and know what we're talking about understand that these aren't the real names, and that they could easily be used in a psyop type way. And so they're all huge on God and Jesus and military guys at the same time. There's a conundrum there that I think people should be able to see, to be able to witness, that big Christian guys, right? They're not military killers generally, I would think, right?
Well, we know that most of the war is a hoax, right? There has been some crazy stuff that's taken place, right? We've seen reports and stories, but we know that it's theater mostly, right? They have theater campaigns. So again, the two sides of the story that we're talking about tonight, you can go with the Q-tards and you can trust the plan. That's the way we've been mocking them, and I could be wrong, right? So just to give you the quick synopsis on the plan is that Joe Biden was actually illegally inaugurated in to be the president, and he's actually broken a bunch of different constitutional laws, right? Whereas multiple things went wrong. He signed in at the wrong time. He didn't have the correct military. That was something that I kept bringing up. Where was the military? The toe-tapping Yankee Doodle sons of guns. That's not your military that you're looking at to see ready to go to war. So we had all these different things happen, and now they're saying that even the betting in Vegas, if you bet on Trump or Biden, the payout is until March 4th, right? So there's definitely some things that are worth looking at, right? And of course, the QAnon are still saying that all the pedophiles are going down in the satanic elite, right? We do know that to change something in this realm, usually in the history books, it's said that it's taken rivers of blood, right? So if Team Satan, this is the analogy that Jason and I have been talking about for a while, as well as a couple of other people. John Smith on Facebook has had a great voice in this conversation. Is Team Satan willing to sacrifice all the people that are atheists? Anyone that doesn't believe isn't worth his time. So what Satan's plan is to set up someone like Trump, fully endow that person with the Antichrist spirit, right? Just like the Holy Spirit was fully in Yahushua, the Antichrist is going to have Satan's full spirit, or legion, whatever it is, a whole collective of demons is going to be in this thing. And he's actually going to be brought out as some sort of a Christian person, right? He might even be part of the Noahide laws. These are the things that we've heard. And that team is going to sacrifice the other side, and then all the Christians are going to follow along with the Antichrist, thinking that Trump is this hero, this Christian savior, right?
I want to throw in there real quickly, just that I would not be surprised that when this Antichrist figure is rolled out, that there would be people out there saying that he's the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, or the Messiah,
Uh,
the
Jesus,
Mashiach.
like I have a feeling that they're going to use the name Jesus.
Is
I,
that what you think?
I think they will.
So I know you've been a staunch, huge proponent to the name Jesus and the name God since we found out that the letter J was invented in the mid 1500s by a Jesuit, and then went on to create the Society of Jesuits, who is run out of Rome, who all roads lead back to. We know that Rome has been nothing but disastrous for the United States of America. All the symbolism, all the Satanism, all of it comes from the Jesuits. They're the worst. They're like, Jesuit oath says, like, smite the unborn children of your enemy in the womb of the mother. Like, it is gross, people. You don't even really want to go down that path. We also know that Trump was trained Jesuit. So we've got two Jesuits that are battling. Biden has supposedly been inaugurated. We don't know completely what's going to go on. And this whole Q thing, we're going to look into that as well. So, those are the overarching things. I asked Jason, do you think that the atheist as well, bring in Pike's prophecy, or whatever you want to call it? He said that the non-believers and the believers would go to war and they'd battle. And then after that war, he basically said that the pure Luciferian satanic doctrine would be what was promoted throughout the earth, right? What say you on that?
Well, I've been a proponent of putting forth what Albert Pike said, because he got the first world wars 1 and 2 correct, and he predicted a third, and with that he also tied in the annihilation of the non-believers, like you're talking about. So from what I understand from the scriptures, the Antichrist wants everybody to
Mm-hmm.
worship him as like the creator of this world. So in order to worship something as the creator of this world, you have to once believe that you're created, and then understand that you have a creator. So what this world has bred is so many of these people that do not believe that they have a creator. They
Yes.
do not. They absolutely just have wiped that possibility clean from their slate, don't believe that they have a creator. And so, how can you get a person that doesn't even believe that they were created
Yeah.
to worship you as the creator? Like, I see a fundamental flaw there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would understand why the Antichrist would want to annihilate all those people, because he wants everybody, and I mean everybody, he wants everybody to worship him.
Yes.
If you don't worship him, he wants you annihilated. So I see somehow this script playing out in a way that wipes out all non-believers. That I don't see how that's not going to take place.
So the pull the rug move that could happen before March 4th, supposedly, that's what we're going to get into, leads us down the path where we would say the Antichrist really needs to create a river of blood. That's what he needs. He needs that. He needs people to be in that fear, that energy. So that is a possibility. I'm not completely drawing a line through that, but my prediction all along has been that the whole time it was planned for Trump to get in there, to take out, to silence the actual people that had any power in this realm, the actual real military, the real people, the truth seekers that found out that, yeah, there's a bunch of people in the American government that are dual citizens with Israel, and they're Zionists, they're Ashkenazi, whatever, Yahadians, we'll use that word. And so we know the truth. We've been following it right since day one. I'm just looking forward to like giving people both sides of the story, letting them hear, and again, to put in one last bit of information before we go forward here, is that the Kim Clement character, it's really odd, because when I started becoming a truther like 8 years ago, one of the first channels on YouTube that I got into contact with and actually spoke with quite a few times was Trey Smith. And Trey Smith was prophesied over by Kim Clement. And Kim Clement is the guy who died after predicting that Trump would win. He had all these prophecies, and then he supposedly died, right, just after Trump took office. And we're going to be starting the screen shares off tonight with a clip in the End We Know video from Kim Clement. So I wanted to give you guys my opinion of it now so we can get through it. Is that it looks like whoever it is, whatever alphabet name you want to give them, the evil they script these things, and what they do is they write these prophecies, and now because he's passed away, his daughter's the one that's reading it, so we don't actually have video of Kim making this prophecy. But what we see is it outlines the possibility of having two presidents and falling right into line with everything that's going on, as well as Israel having two prime ministers right now. So Jason, if you want to say anything just as I get everything ready, and again, super shout out to everyone in the chat. Like, we love every one of you guys on our team. We want to be a team. This isn't about just Jason and I. All your comments stay up on the chat after the video ends. And please, 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 please leave comments below. Show other people what you feel and that you're a part of this team. I'm going to continue to ask everyone in the chat, everyone that watches this in the future. I'm speaking to you guys from the future right now. Put a comment below. Even if you just say hi, thank you guys for showing up, or whatever you want to say. We want to hear from you. And I'll let you talk while I get things set up here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so what Ronnie is saying is fight for truth. He put up a new video that I thought was absolutely fabulous. The narrative just got downloaded to him, and he put it out in a video and put great graphics to it. What more can you ask from a content creator than to download good content, which is going to be verbalized? It's going to be written out on the screen. It's going to be spoken, and get some nice graphics to it, some nice music, make it palatable. That's all of us ever hope for. So we're always looking for other content creators that care about truth, that want to be involved, as we would like co-create together, and not in some sort of satanic way, but sharing truth. We would be in a position where we would have more and more inventory of media to share and make greater and greater projects. That's what we pray for. That's what we hope for. Tonight's information, I was sort of surprised by, a little bit taken back by that. We had the inauguration. I saw Biden come in, and I sort of thought that we were just going to be moving on to this masked up and socialist world. And then these messages all of a sudden came across our feeds, and Ronnie's got some great timestamps. And so I personally still think pull the rug is on the table, that it's not off completely, based off of stuff that Trump said and stuff that we're going to go through in the videos tonight. And there's a couple other things that what I do is when I hear the same narrative from a couple of different sources, I catalog that right away, and then I like to talk about them and try to get early timestamps. So there's something later that I would like to talk about as far as maybe another one of those early timestamps. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna find out definitely as we go through this content exactly what's going on, what the two sides are saying, right? How they're talking about each other. So basically what we're going to start off here is the Kim Clement prophecy clip. So everyone fasten your seatbelts. Let's do this.
solarwaterheater.com. I'd like to play this for you first before we get started.
We had to actually do a little bit of digging because it was in our database, but we could not find video footage. And this is a prophecy from my dad, Kim Clement.
Yes.
In 2008. So it's April 4th of 2008. And he prophesies about having two presidents, which I think is quite fascinating.
Unbelievable.
So listen to
actually.
it first, and we'll come back and we'll read through it and talk about it. April 4th, 2008, in Seattle, Washington. And they shall say, but now there is a second president. How can we have two presidents? An unusual thing, isn't it? Said the Spirit of the Lord. Why would it be that one with a double mind would stand up and face the people? No, they shall say, we have two presidents. What do we do now? Fear not, for God said, as I promised before, this is my nation, and I will change things according to the time and season. And I told you now, I will expose and reveal things that have been hidden, so that my nation can move into this next election and to the next phase with victory and honor and glory, says the Lord of hosts. I prophesy America. I prophesy America, you are a light salt, joy. You are a light, salt, joy. I declare this upon this nation. Great, great prosperity again. Oil prices that shall change rapidly, and when the new source of energy suddenly unfolds, people will say, oh God, how did we miss it? It was so easy. At the right time, and the time is now, says the Spirit of God.
An amazing prophecy that came from Kim Clement in 2008. Folks, I normally don't start out with something so biblical or prophetic. Normally go through the news, give my opinion. But it was interesting because after praying for several hours, the first thing that popped up on my YouTube feed on my phone was this video, Kim Clement's Two Presidents Prophecy. So I clicked on it, listened to it. I've watched Kim Clement for a long time, and I've been very amazed. I've just been amazed at the way that he's able to seemingly get things right with almost everything that he prophesied. And I understood that he passed away, I believe, in December after Trump won the election. And so I felt like it needed to be said that even God was speaking through someone to let us know that there would be two presidents. What do we do now? Fear not. That was the first thing. Well, there seems to be a lot of fear, a lot of anger. And so in this journey that I've been in for the past several hours now, trying to figure out how to speak to you guys, many things popped into my feed and into the research after prayer. One of them was the reminder of who we're up against. On the left side is the picture of the supposed Bible that Biden and whoever that is, his wife, is holding. If you notice, up close, I'll zoom in, there's two upside-down crosses. So you'd say, well, it was just an accident. They happened to flip it over wrong. Well, I'll tell you what. Almost every believer knows upside-down cross is a symbol of a satanic worship.
That's true.
It's not by mistake, folks. I don't believe that at all.
No, that's true.
They call us a cult. Yahoo News and many other news sources that were on video were even saying.
So what I want to show everybody is that, so this picture that LT is sharing here is when Biden was inaugurated as vice president. And yes, his wife is holding, can you guys see that? Okay, Ken. His wife is holding a Bible, and it's upside down. The crosses are upside down. That's 100% true, right? Now, if I go to the next image, so this was the one that he was inaugurated in, supposedly, as president, and you can see his wife's wearing blue now. In the last image, she's wearing red. I don't know how LT missed this, right? I know you and Yahweh's daughter were quick to say, no, that wasn't the outfit she was wearing, right? And we had to do the investigation. I give Yahweh's daughter the credit. She was pushing that we look into these claims without just taking them at face value. So, Jason, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I had picked up on it because I had made the thumbnail for our hangout on the 20th. And so when I typed into the Google search Joe Biden sworn in, I went through that initial list of images that came up, and I did see the red jacket one, and I did see the upside down crosses, and I looked at it, and then I looked and saw that it wasn't from the correct year, because I had remembered seeing her in the sort of baby blue outfit. So I caught it right away. Yahweh's daughter caught it right away. She remembered the outfit. And if you remember the outfit, you know that and we know, what's his name?
LT. He's a Master Sergeant Marine, right?
Master Sergeant. So I don't know how he missed it. This seems like one of those easy takedown type things that we were talking about earlier.
Well, yeah, I just debunked it in 2 seconds, right? So I guess we can go back to the next clip. So now I'm going to jump ahead to what we got here. 11:56. I haven't timestamped in a while, guys. I actually did some timestamping today. I just wanted to try to get through this stuff without being totally lost because, again, Yahweh's Daughter is our number one producer and heavily involved in the Hangouts, and her advice was to be a little bit more organized, and that's what I'm trying to do. So now we're going to get into the reason why he titled his video, Our Plans Are Not God's Plans. Again, Jason's pointing out the word God actually means Odin, which goes back to Godriel as a fallen angel, right? The true creator of this realm name is Yahweh, right? Not God. So we're going to keep on going here. Unless you want to add anything to that, brother.
I just want to bang on the whole God thing as much as we can. Look up the etymology. Type in God and then type the word etymology and see that the word didn't come about to 600 AD. That's Common Era. That's after Yahushua was here. So there was obviously a word for spirit entity before that. It was Elohim in the scriptures. God is a satanic insertion.
And I thought, well, maybe they're going to be a little bit, not too mean. Well, I went over to Scott McKay's YouTube. He was going to go live, and I thought maybe, I'll watch him for a minute, see what's going on. And I was watching the chat room before he even went live, because as you go live on YouTube, you can chat before it goes live. Every other person on his chat, they were cursing him. They were saying, you're a Q-psyop believer. You led us on a journey of lies. And the others were saying, I trust the plan. I'm sticking with President Trump. Half of the people were angry, upset, and they were taking it out on Scott McKay and all the people that follow President Trump. They had enough. And so it reminded me of the drop from our famous intel group, the 17th letter, a drop that was given to all of us. Coincidence, the Matrix movie grew people as a crop used for energy and controlled their mind. Wonder where they derived that idea from? Now comes the conspiracy label. Deeper we go, the more unrealistic it all becomes. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours.
So what I want to point out here is this End We Know channel. This is the number one guy putting out the QAnon military plan, what's supposedly going on. This has got to be one of the biggest videos he's done. This is his comeback after the inauguration where everyone in Q was saying that they were going to shut it down. The military was going to come in and stop everything. Trust the plan. So he's come back. Trust the plan, right? So he's come back. And this time he's taken a quote, a Q post from 2018, right, at 11:26 a.m., and he's read it and he's decided that the end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. So he's taken that. That's the title of this video. I'm it wasn't a super important thing to bring up. I just wanted to say that this had absolutely nothing to do with what he was talking about. I'm clueless as to why he decided to do that. And I've tried to bring the volume up for you a bit, Jason, and turn him a bit down. He's got his sound cranked. So the next point we're going to get into is basically a clip from Donald Trump back in the 80s, I believe, maybe the early 90s, but I think it's the 80s. Where does it start? There was this clip as well from Pompeo. He's quoting up scriptures, right? And this guy was just nothing but a, asshat clown. He said, oh, there's going to be a smooth transition into the Trump second term, right? That's what this guy said in front of the whole world from the White House's press briefing room, right? Do you want to say anything here, Jay?
No, not right now.
No? Okay, let's get into these clips here. This is Donald Trump. This is before he was, I think maybe this happened just after he was elected. He came out and here, I'll let him speak for himself.
Tend to begin or end military options. We will not talk about numbers of troops or our plans for further military activities. Conditions on the ground, not arbitrary timetables, will guide our strategy from now on. America's enemies must never know our plans or believe they can wait us out. I will not say when we are going to attack, but attack we will.
So that's a great reminder of how he does things very well. We haven't had a leader like that most of my lifetime. They seem to always announce when they're going to go after the enemies some way, somehow.
Okay, we got to get a pause on this. Listen, for a long time, the Smith-Mundt Act was in place, and that said that the media wasn't allowed to lie to the people, right? And the Smith-Mundt Act, you can do your research on this, it was repealed. And when the Smith-Mundt Act was repealed, it gave all of the government, all of the media, all of their psyops the full reign under legal amnesty to say whatever they want, so to confuse the enemy. So when they come out and say, oh, we're going to strike such and such place at such and such time, they are fully allowed legally to lie. They've been lying the whole time. Trump full well knows this, right? Of course, no one's going to just broadcast that we're about to attack, even though there are supposed rules in war. There's these retarded things where they say they have these agreements where they got to warn people, but I really don't believe in any of it. So I just wanted to point out that the Smith-Mundt Act was in place to protect the people from the government and the military, and that was gone. And any time that they're in what they call war, and they've been at perpetual war for at least 50 years, or maybe 100 years, I can't give you guys the exact amount of years, they've been lying to the population. They do it through media. They do it through psyops. They do it through everything you can think of. It's all over the internet, just sprinkled. They wanted everyone to smash their TVs because on the internet, they have way more control over your mind. You have a way more interactive platform where you can really control the people, right? Even though I don't like TV, I can't stand commercials, right, Jay? We don't have cable. I haven't had cable in a long time, right? So
I gave up on TV a long time ago. I was probably 5 years from moving while I was still in Wisconsin, and I just couldn't take it anymore. The laugh tracks. As soon as I heard a laugh track, gross. I was out.
Gross, right? So gross. Let's keep going here.
And then we find out the enemy is able to run away. They project it all to them, and he doesn't do that. So supposedly this letter is put out from Linwood and shared for many people. 20th January 2021, Joe, you know I won. Donald J. Trump. That was the letter supposedly given to Biden.
So I don't know if everybody in the chat and watching in the future had seen this. Supposedly that's a genuine letter that Trump had, typed up, right? It's letterhead, it's typed, right? With the seal on it, right? Jason was like, well, I could probably make one that says Ronnie Harris in the 5 seconds one, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't take long. I mean, to put something like that forth as evidence now is so weak, people. Like, I can download that letterhead, type something up, and copy and paste
boom,
Trump's autograph from anywhere.
Yeah, typeset font, boom, white over the name, hit the little eyedropper so that the white matches the white of the document, and type out Ronnie won, Joe. Right? You've been regenerating. So I think we'll skip ahead because there's a bunch of nonsense coming out of this Linwood guy. He's always been talking about, pedophile, all this nonsense, right? So we're going to skip ahead to the Biden sworn in unconstitutionally, and that's going to be at 2150. And again, hopefully everybody's got their popcorn because as we go through this, it's going to get better and better and better. That's always my goal with everything I do, whether it be a video, a conversation, a friendship. I want to progress and get better and better every single day. That's my goal. And I hope everybody, this is just Ronnie quick fact of the day. Doesn't matter how bad stuff went on you today. Tomorrow get up and it could be a better day, right? So let's get into this and I'll stop jabbing.
And the cost of freedom. Patriot, a person who loves his country and zealously supports and defends it and its interest. In the beginning of a change, the patriot is a scarce man, a brave, and hated and scorned. When his cause succeeds, the timid join him, for then it costs nothing to be a patriot. Thank you, X22, if you even know who I am.
Just shot the
thank you from
bullets
bottom
off,
of my
right?
heart for that. I was
What do you tell
reading
them to
you
say?
on the Q-tip as this was all playing out.
Like it's hilarious.
So
These guys, the way that they throw out their quotes, they're like the most like ridiculous. Like I don't know if they've got some stupid algorithm thing that spits out this stuff, but it's so funny. They like come at you with like this huge like, it's this, trust the plan. We've got this, Patriots all the way. And everything we've seen has been completely the opposite of that, right? We haven't seen any Patriots get anything. They're now terrorists, right? Anyone who isn't with the left has been completely silenced, right from 2016. It just makes me laugh. But let's get into this clip. Jason, do you want to say anything?
Well, just that later we're gonna get Trump's whole that video from the old days where he's saying the stuff he does. That, everybody, is something to stick around for, because it does appear that the narrative is that Trump may have thrown this all away in order to see who is loyal to him. So stick around for that.
The inauguration of the 46th president, that's what they claim he is. We're going to find out more in a minute how this is actually not true. It's a corporation that's going bankrupt. Stay tuned for some more on that. But anyway, they only had 321,000 views on the White House thing, epic fail, because they had 13,000 dislikes and 3,000 likes. And I noticed the numbers weren't really good on the other channels either. So fraud on the...
Well, and just to mention, I've been following that since he said that. The number actually got way worse. They had to put the video unlisted, right, so that people couldn't find it. The most popular president supposedly of all time is Joe Biden. He got the most votes of all time, and he's just getting annihilated in the likes to dislike ratio, even though we know that generally it is a show of what people think, right? If they're able to see the content, whereas Jason and I, we don't even get into the pipelines where people are. We're trying everything we can. But, you know, have you noticed any of that, Jay? Anything that they put out, the pressers, they're just getting like 15,000 to 20 likes, or 15,000 to 100 likes and 15,000 downvotes.
Yeah, they're getting pounded in the analytics for sure.
It's crazy. Like, we know that YouTube is owned by Team Satan. Why wouldn't they just tweak the algorithms and cheat for them? Like, why? Is it mockery?
I think they're trying to inflame the would-be right, the conservatives that I guess identify as Republican, because there's only one group that says that they're conservative. Just understand that group is not conservative, people. The Republicans have been infiltrated. It's the people that have righteous hearts, the people that would believe in a creator, the people that are anti, LGBTQ plus and anti homosexuality and all that type of stuff, right?
I just felt sick, bro. Why are you talking about that stuff? I'm kidding. No, that's the team that's in place now, right? They're all trannies, and they've appointed this person and that person, and it's just this big party, right?
I guess. I'm not a part of that party.
Whew.
Or any of these political parties.
No, we speak out against both, right? The people who own the money own both sides and the power.
The Constitution has been accomplished. That's right. When they got up there and had the inauguration, the vice president was sworn in first. That's not constitutional. Biden took his hand off the Bible before the end of the oath. Not constitutional. It wasn't a Bible. It was an upside down cross thing. Anyway, Biden was not welcomed into office with the...
Yeah, he doubled down. He might even have tripled down in this video, right?
Are you going to be sharing any of the clutch parts? Because
yeah, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
Or maybe not. I might have breezed past it. Before we switch over, I'll make sure that I get into that, because I've got it right here as a tab ready to go.
Well, there was three main things that I noticed from his video that were very discreditable. And we talked about the first having to do with Biden being sworn on the upside down cross Bible. The other one was the clutch that he just mentioned there.
That's correct.
And the other one was this Castle Rock, which is supposed to be some sort of chess
move. Yeah, the pawn to queen or whatever.
And it's not. It's pure BS. It is.
It's just nonsense, right?
Yep.
Good point.
The 21 gun salutes. Trump was given 21 gun salutes today. who's the president. I'm going to show you the 21 gun salutes later in this video. Stay tuned. And I'm going to show you President Trump's. I'm going to show you Biden didn't get it, but something else happened. And I'm going to show you Obama's, just to prove to you that they normally do it right after everything plays out. They have a huge celebration, and there's these 21 gun salutes, and it didn't happen for him. I'm going to show you. So another thing that was interesting was Daily Mail, how Trump's early White House departure has caused a logistical nightmare over the nuclear codes. Military will
Okay, we definitely know that nukes are a hoax, right? If you haven't researched Galen Windsor, you don't know what you're talking about. Galen Windsor was the head guy that basically brought forth the way that we make power now through heating up types of iron, right? And
heavy metal, uranium.
Uranium, which again comes from an iron ore. They dig stuff out of the ground, they heat it up, it boils water, and it turns turbines. That's how we have power. Now you can't, Galen Windsor would say that, like, if one of the rods would pop out of its place, he would go over with a glove on and pick it up and put it back into its place. It was only, he swam in the pool, right? The water that was boiled. He swam in it when it was cool, right? So we know that nukes are a hoax. All the footage is CGI. It's a joke. So all this nonsense and talk about nuclear codes is one of the biggest jokes I've ever seen. We have to, like, point that out. I'm sorry.
Well, I think most people that have come to the realization that Earth's not curved has also stumbled across that nukes are a hoax. If you haven't, research it. Hopefully those videos are still up. They were available when we were going through non-curved Earth. It's all a bunch of models. It's really horrible. And the idea that they still promote the idea that there are nukes is horrifying, to say the least.
have to fly a football back to D.C. after president takes it to Florida. Do they have to really fly it back? Is that what Daily Mail assumed? Interesting, right? Because those are the nuclear codes. And other sources are saying that President Trump was given nuclear codes and Biden's got the other nuclear codes. Huh. Why would he take it with him? Go a step further. Q-Tip says, like many of you, I was in shock by today's event, but then I used logic. I realized why it had to happen this way and that Q told us it would happen and why this needed to happen. So there's a scare event that would be needed, a scare event. I, for one, know that many were scared. Are you scared yet? Yeah?
No, I'm not scared one bit. No.
It's like being on the edge of the Red Sea. Remember, the Pharaoh's coming with all the Egyptians, and they're fixing to kill us, and you took us out here to die. There, Moses. There, Trump. There, Q. You took us out here to die. Number one, Q Post 4821 and 4822 told us that Biden being sworn in would the countries he took bribes from be in control of the government. That's right, because he took bribes from China and Ukraine. Would they actually own the White House?
That's actually 100% verifiable. That's true, right? We know he had the quid pro quo. He said, I went there and I told him, you got to get rid of this guy or you're not getting the $1 billion. And then he said they took him out and they put someone in that was solid, right? That was exactly what Joe Biden said on national television, right? And there's evidence that he was collecting, millions, if not billions of dollars from China as well. So it's, some of this stuff really is true, right? That's why we're showing you guys. We're pointing out what's not, and we're, showing you what we think actually is true.
White House. Huh. You go a step further, Biden had to take a private jet to D.C. and was not sent a government plane. This was the first time in history that has happened. Again, I will get back to this point. Well, I went and found the picture of the plane, found an article that said Joe Biden flies private for inauguration after being denied military plane. As the United States of America is preparing to enter into a new administration, another surprising breach of tradition and, some say, protocol has been recorded. The president-elect had to fly private for the inauguration. Well, many of us assumed that Trump and those in the administration were referring to the next administration. It meant the military. We expected him to step down to remain neutral, as Q said, while all this went down. Trump did say that the next administration would take over at noon today. Like many, I thought this was over when Biden was sworn. However, we thought it was over. Biden swore in. Oh, we're done now. That's what a lot of folks were thinking, right? However, because of the fraud, as pointed out, if the military has the evidence, which they do, Remember the the DNI report, the intelligence report stating, the Director of National Intelligence, stating foreign interference, which is a national emergency. Then they have the duty under military code to remove the false government and restore a new legal civilian government under military code 11.3.
So I don't know, we were going back and forth with Steve in the chat over the fact that the Wa was actually the 6th character in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew alphabet. He just pointed out there that now that the inauguration has taken place of Biden, the military now have the constitutional power to supposedly, take him down and shut down Washington as an illegitimate foreign entity operating inside the United States of America's corporation. So the corporation itself can now be pulled out of Washington. Supposedly, this is what they're saying the Constitution says. They also said in the Constitution that when the Electoral College votes were going to be counted, that it was going to go down to a vote, and there was 50 states and more. Each state would get one vote, and none of that happened. It was absolutely nonsense, or they just neglected to follow the law. So why would we believe now that they're going to follow the law for this, is my question. Jason?
Well, and so part of the semi-prediction that I have later has to do with this decentralization, that the authority of this government as far as a corporation is concerned is going to be delegitimized, and that I'm starting to see the narrative. It was spoken about earlier this year, right in the beginning, about the U.S. being broken up and there being multiple places of government. So maybe we can talk about it at the end, but I just wanted to toss that in.
Which triggered when Biden was sworn in today. Q Post 26, when 11.3 verifies as the first marker. Now we know what that means. There was a fear in the McCarthy era that the communists could take over our government, so provisions were put in place for the military to protect us should that happen. These provisions allow the military to take control while they remove the belligerent government and restore a legal civilian government. Literally, the military was put in place as the last line of defense of the Constitution should an illegal government be installed. This is why they didn't send a government plane for the president-elect, because they know he is not a legitimate president. And once he's sworn in, the government became illegitimate, belligerent, and the military is now responsible for restoring legitimate civilian government. Q said that the end would not be for everybody. We've been told by Trump, Flynn, and others that America would soon get a lesson in the Constitution. Boy, have we been learning.
Yeah, we've been learning too. We've been hearing what they say the Constitution states, and we've seen the left absolutely steamroll over it. We've been covering it every step of the way. We covered them saying that we're just going to roll through. That was what Jason received his first strike for, was that they said they were just going to roll through and say that Biden won no matter what, right? And that even if Trump cheated, they were still going to do the exact same plan. They had all the people in place. I guess those people ended up just becoming the transition team, right?
Constitution. So effective at noon today, when Biden illegally swore in with assistance of foreign nations, and by the way, he actually swore in about 8 minutes earlier than noon, he just made the government illegitimate and effectively put the military in control. I thought it was over when Biden swore in today. I realized Q told us it needed to happen for the military to assume control without it.
So we had said all along that after Biden got in and supposedly sworn in, they were going to say it was all a part of the plan. And he just, I give him the belt. He just did it, right? This was all per plan, right? Do you have anything to say, bro?
No, I was just working on the comment. Sorry.
Military Q. Absolutely brilliant how this is all playing out, even for me as I continue to learn. Is there a plan in place after Trump? Q2609, yes, there is. Misty Blue said, thought if the executive order had 45 days to report to the president, about the election, the 45 days to act. That's done by February 1st, 2021. National Freedom Day. Is it possible that our 10 days of darkness starts on about 2 days and then end on the February 1st. The ending wasn't for all of us. Today was torture. I agree. Everybody's continuing to try to guess on dates. We don't want to set dates, right? But remember when General Flynn told us. Remember the story from General Washington encouraging his men to re-enlist in the Army on 31 December 1776. If you will consent to stay 1 month longer. That's from December 31st.
So the Q drop, or General Flynn's drop, is that it was going to take 1 month longer. The funny thing that we want to interject here is that we've been saying that the calendar and everything is off by a month. So it's interesting that we've got this tweet coming out from General Flynn. I don't know if he's watching our YouTube channel, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, we have been saying that, and then you've got channels like Informed Christians that are promoting that on January 20th that we went into the age of Aquarius, when all you have to do is open Stellarium and see that that's the day that the sun entered Capricorn. Right, so it's a month off. So the astrological to the actual sun in, which is measurable, is off by a month. We have all these off by a month, like you're talking about.
So we've got another person trying to say that now the U is the W, right? No. If you check the ancient Paleo-Hebrew and the ancient Semitic languages, you'll find that the sixth character is the Wa. W-A. Every character has the ah sound after it except for I, right? Ah, ba, ga, da. How-wa. It literally has the creator's name, Hawa, right? The ya is added to the front of Hawa because Hawa means exists and the ya means he. So it's just interesting that someone was saying the U was a W. No, there was no U. There's no U in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew. That sound, the sound, is added by the Masoretic scribes who converted the language so that it would be vowel accepting, right? They needed to have the I, E, O, and U, and sometimes Y, because that's the way that the Greeks and the Italians did it, the Romans, right? So if we go
E, O, and U, you can just absolutely throw them out. They are Masoretic vowel points. The ah is one of, it's not a vowel in Paleo-Hebrew. It's just the way it's pronounced. They didn't have vowels. So it was ah, ba, ga, right? And then the I, it sounds like I. So you had the ah and the I, but E, O, and U are Masoretic vowel points that did not exist in Paleo-Hebrew.
1 month longer is to January 31st. You will render that service to the cause of liberty and to your country, which you probably can never do under any other circumstance. Interesting, right? So then we had 659, the shot heard around the world. Freedom Day, January 31st, was posted 2 years ago. Could January 31st be it? A lot of guessing. And then we had the president say this as he was on the tarmac in front of 17 flags.
Despite that, the things that we've done have been just
so people know, the 17th letter is Q in the alphabet. So that's what he's saying.
incredible, and I couldn't have done it without you. So just a goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form. And again, I want to just, in leaving, I want to thank our Vice President, Mike Pence, and Karen. I want to thank Congress because we really worked well with Congress, at least certain elements of Congress. But we really did. We've gotten so much done that nobody thought would be possible. But I do want to thank Congress. And I want to thank all of the great people of Washington, D.C., all of the people that we worked with to put this miracle together. So have a good life. We will see you soon.
I don't know how that's positive, right? I know the "we'll see you soon" thing is cool, right? He's giving the shout out, I'll be back. Don't worry, I'm not going to disappear completely, right? He might give, who knows what he's going to do. But I can't believe that he played that like it's some special thing. I'm confused, but...
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So like you saw in the intro, He mentioned this, and it's just a good reminder how that all played out for that amazing speech. Everyone was in good spirits. Everyone was smiling. There was a 21 gun salute. It was beautiful.
So that was the main crux of what I wanted to play here. Now we're going to go to the old Trump clips, but just to recap, what we just heard is that the plan had to be that they had to install an illegitimate president that was elected by fraud and backed by foreign nations. And then the military supposedly now has the power to shut down Washington and take out the government. And they obviously form another one constitutionally, right? Which we've heard the talks of it actually being the capital of the new country of USA would be Texas. Austin, Texas would be the capital, right? That's what we've heard. We've been hearing a lot
and
of...
maybe one in the Florida area as well, and
Maybe
one in a couple other locations as well. That's sort of what I was going to talk about, but I'm excited about getting to these old Trump clips. I think this is the gravy.
Yeah, so these are some clips that he's brought forth from Trump back in the day, talking about, I think he was recollecting what happened when he went bankrupt, and it was Wilbur Ross of the Rothschilds who took him out of bankruptcy and said the Trump name was too powerful, right? You can quote me saying that, right? So let's listen to what Trump has to say. Get your popcorn.
Upload it 5 times before it works. And then Rumble seems to work pretty well, and that's the one I keep sending people to from all the social media platforms. Now, here's a great reminder of how Trump thinks about being in a loss feeling, like losing on purpose so he can see who his enemies really are.
You see, I'm so loyal to people, and maybe I'm loyal to a fault, but I'm so loyal to people that when somebody's slightly disloyal to me, I look upon it as a great act of horror.
And how are you different than you were 3 or 4 years ago?
Well, I used to say, and in fact, I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal. And I found out a lot of things.
Did you find out who's loyal and not
I
loyal?
tell you what, and you can't guess. You just can't predict it. It's very difficult.
And that
I
would
think
have
I
been-
would have treated people differently. I think that, some of the people that were most loyal to me are people that I didn't think would be. Some of the people that were least loyal to me are people that
You got
I
it.
think I would have treated them differently. I think I would have treated different groups differently. I would have wiped the floor with the guys that weren't loyal, which I will now do, which is great. I love getting even with people. But I will
Slow
have
up.
wiped.
You love getting even.
Oh, absolutely. You don't believe in the eye for the eye? You do.
No.
I know you well enough. I think you do. But anyway,
But tell me, you're going to get even with some people. Because
yeah, I know, if given the opportunity, I will get even with some people who are disloyal to me. Come on, Governor. Even though you didn't endorse me. He's not forgotten. Never forget.
Never forget. And God put the...
So I'm just going to play that again just to make sure everybody got it. Might be glitching on the live feed. I don't know. Let's check that out again.
we know on Twitter and Facebook. I'm 17 laid out for that amazing reminder of how Trump thinks about being in a loss feeling, like losing on purpose so he can see who his enemies really are.
You see, I'm so loyal to people, and maybe I'm loyal to a fault, but I'm so loyal to people that when somebody's slightly disloyal to me, I look upon it as a great act of horror.
And how are you?
So when he's so loyal, like I could say the same thing. I'm a super loyal person too. And when people act unloyal, you have to deal with it with compassion, understanding, and look at the situation from all angles outside of the ego. Something that the Antichrist might say is, I will destroy anyone that crosses me. I look at that as pure horror. That's exactly what Trump just said. I just want to point that out. Right, Jay? I don't know if you're back, but...
Yeah, no, this is the big stuff right here. So this is him laying down narrative way long ago that's it's telling of his position. And when you see how the Freemasons do the predictive programming and all that, I have to think that this was laid down for a purpose back then relating to now.
You're different than you were 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, I used to say, and in fact, I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's.
So he said one day he might be willing to lose everything for a period of time just to see who's loyal or not. Because until you get to that place, you never really know, right? Just pointing that out again.
Yeah, people have to be tested fully. The scriptures point that out. And you would expect that of the Antichrist as well, that he would fully test his people to see who was loyal and who wasn't, who stood by, who didn't. And it's not until they're actually put into the position where they think it's real that you're ever going to find out how they react. And he knows that.
Loyal and who's not loyal. And I frankly found out a lot of
Did
things.
you find out who's loyal and
No,
not
I tell you
loyal?
what, and you can't guess it. You can't predict it. You think certain people would be loyal no matter what, and it turns out that they're not. And you just can't predict it. It's very difficult.
And that
I
would
think
have
I
been-
would have treated people differently. I think that, some of the people that were most loyal to me are people that I didn't think would be. Some of the people that were least loyal to me are people that
You got
I
it.
think I would have treated them differently. I think I would have treated different groups differently. I would have wiped the floor with the guys that weren't.
So as he's saying this, he would have wiped the floor with anyone that was disloyal to him. They're showing Republicans and judges that he appointed, that Amy Barrett Cohen. There was a bunch of people that were just flashed in front of the screen.
Wipe the floor with them. That made it into the thumbnail. So it's strong language. Anybody that's this loyal, Trump's going to wipe the floor with. We'll see.
Loyal, which I will now do, which is great. I love getting even with people, but I will. I
Slow
will
up.
wipe.
You love getting even.
Oh, absolutely. You don't.
He loves revenge. Absolutely loves revenge.
If you don't believe in the eye for the eye, you do.
No.
I know you well enough. I think you do. But anyway,
But tell me, you're going to get even
I think under his breath there, he said something you know very well about an eye for an eye. Again, that's Talmudic Kabbalism, right? Just pointing that out.
with some people. Because
yeah, I know, if given
they-
the opportunity, I will get even with some people who are disloyal to me. Come on, Joe. Even though you didn't endorse me.
He's not forgotten.
I never forget.
He never forgets, right? So those are the big clips that, we really wanted to show people. There's more here. We got more coming up before we end this. We're almost finished with this video.
If given the opportunity, he will get even, he said.
Where's the Kamala part? I might as well go to that now before I go to the next spot. That way I don't have to come back. Because he did call it out. It was clearly shown. Did he do it earlier or did he do it later? Maybe he did it later in the video. There it is. So I guess I should just play his own words.
Because those who follow Q will be so disappointed because the things that they claimed did not come true. Now, there were many people on the Q boards, many people excited because they felt like somehow Q had alluded to a date where everything was going to be happening. It was going to fall into place on those dates. They were prophesying themselves how it's going to all play out. Nobody knows. I've said that in my videos. People are coming up with ideas of the dates that will happen, but obviously it doesn't play out the way that man sees it. So Trump, the Yahoo News said, as Trump departs office, reality sets in for the QAnon cult. Do you see how they always make accusations and call names when the very thing that scares them the most because they worship Satan goes against them? Even further, Trump Girl put this out at THOM Lily Lane. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing also on Twitter. Paying attention. Satanists don't touch the Holy Bible. That's why she, Kamala, put her clutch bag on top of the Bible. These people are sick right in our faces. Notice, and I'll zoom in, hopefully you won't see the cuss word. Right there, she has her hand on a device or a booklet type of thing on top of the Bible because Satanists do not touch.
I thought he said
Bible.
clutch. So, okay, there's his statement. And in no way are we defending what she did. She definitely had something on top of the Bible, but she's claiming that was her family Bible. This is her husband, the Ashkenazi entertainment lawyer, who's also worked on the boards of vaccine industries, right? He's holding the Bible here, and then this is apparently her Bible. So obviously easily discreditable, even though the truth is, I don't know if that's true, if Satanists are afraid of the Bible. I don't think they are. I think they know the Bible really well, and it's actually their weapon. They try to use the Bible as a weapon. Do they touch it? I don't know for sure. But I know for sure that they're not afraid to use the scriptures. People do it constantly from Team Satan. That's all I've ever heard. Jaron and Chris Geo and people that blatantly outright hate the Bible still read quotes from it, right? So, what do you want to add on this, Jay?
Well, just that, yeah. So this is at least 2 of the 3 easily debunkable Q-tard takedowns where it's not true. He showed it from the side where you could see the zipper on it, and he called it a gadget or a thingamabobby or a clutch or something. And if you just go to Google and find another view, you'll see that the other side, the spline there, says Holy Bible on it. And the images that I clicked on were in articles about why she used 2 Bibles. All right, so right away, just leaving super low-hanging fruit for him to be able to be debunked.
Yeah, what else? Why else would he have put it in there? Now, you're saying it was purposefully done, right, to be debunked. So we've shown it. It was supposedly another Bible that she had her hand on. And again, when Biden was sworn in, he did actually swear in as vice president on an upside-down cross Bible. That actually really did happen, right? And again, we'll give credit. It was Yahweh's daughter that was the first one to catch this. It was her truth-seeking skills that pointed this out. We followed the leads. And then now I'll scroll through to the chess moment. And you can explain this if you want. We can quickly go through that because that's pretty funny. Where's this chessboard? Chess move. Because I think the title, not the title, but the thumbnail has the chess piece in it, right? They're always using that symbolism. Here it is. So it says Castle Rock is a chess move where you back away your pawns. Jason, continue reading. If you can see it. Back away your pawns.
Yeah, I gotta make this a lot bigger.
I can do it. And back your own king into a corner to retreat while sacrificing rooks, bishops, and 1 knight. As your enemy advances towards the corner, some of your surviving pawns become queens. By the time the final move to the position any opponent's moves come back to checkmate you, they would in fact be moving to checkmate themselves, surrounding all available moves and defenses of their own king by the pawns who have become royalty. Right? So this is a chess strategy, supposedly, where you give everything up, move your pawns to the end, and get your queen back. And then as you do that, they come back, and then you attack. So this is the analogy. What did you think of it, Jay?
Well, I had heard of, I'm a chess player. I grew up playing chess, and I had never heard of Castle Rock. And I thought for sure I would have heard of something, as some magnificent chess strategy. And so right away in the first sentence, it says Castle Rock is a chess move where you back away your pawns. And anybody that knows chess at all knows that pawns don't move backwards. They can't. They can only move forwards. And so right away, you begin to realize that this is just pure made up nonsense. Go ahead and do a search for Castle Rock chess checkmate move. I did. Couldn't find anything about it. It makes no sense. It doesn't even have like proper chess moves in it. It's impossible. So discreditable? Yes. So there was the upside down cross. That was from when he was sworn in as VP. There was the didn't touch the Bible because had hand on a clutch. Turns out it was a second Bible. And Castle Rock, it's not a chess move. It's just made up fiction. So while still we see these Q-tards as pushing, this side narrative that we think has some validity to it, but they make themselves discreditable at the same time.
That's correct. And I just want to point out again, I had said that Kamala supposedly was sworn in under her own pocket Bible. I'll specifically say that it's like one of those pocket carrying Bibles. We don't know what it really was, but that's what they're saying that it was. And it definitely wasn't a purse or some device like he was saying. The chess move, again, absolute nonsense. Jason just completely showed you that. And again, with the Biden did swear in on an upside down cross, but that was when he was vice president. This year, he swore in with it the correct way, right? So I guess we'll keep going. Now we've got the last part of this video, and then we'll run through the other team's narrative. So we're gonna hear now basically the takedown constitutionally, the pull the rug. This is basically the pull the rug plan.
Good presentation for you, but not for this one. Here we go. Trump owed to the corporation. D.C. is fenced off and the president is never going back to the White House. But no, not for reasons you may be thinking. Fear not. There will be a new Capitol built and an end to income taxes paid to the tax collectors of the corporation that is now in the hands of a new administration. They went to all the trouble to steal a corporation whose assets are in the process of being seized. Most did not see this coming, for they did not even know their nation was a corporation. But it is indeed but now. No more are the states subject to it. Please read on to understand the nature of the battle we are in. In 1871, a seditious act was performed by the government. A coup was made to rewrite the Constitution, and put we the people in all capitals under a new corporate contract, transferring the United States of America into the new corporate of the United States of America, which transferred to the power of we the people and the Constitution over to the new corporation. When they did that, it placed the citizens in the United States as property of the corporation, which was centered in Washington, D.C. This action made Washington, D.C. a foreign entity on American soil of sovereign states. It was established through a loan from the Vatican when D.C. was transferred into a city-state, and this corporate entity then ruled over the people. Citizens' rights were taken from them in this process. No one realized this. When they did the broker deal to get the loan from the Vatican, they did so via the Bank of London. At that time, they transferred all the property in D.C., Columbia, over to the corporate entity of D.C., a foreign corporation. The forming of this corporation in D.C. is of major importance to understand, for when President Trump signed an executive order in 2018 on election interference fraud for entities, both foreign and domestic, it outlined how assets would be seized. The president and the people knew and had the proof that a coup transpired out of the corporation of the United States of America, along with other foreign nations, and was ignored by the corporation in D.C. They continued with their illegal steal, and the military is now in the process of seizing the assets of this foreign country known as the Corporation of the United States of America. It appears that President Trump's executive order was actually directed at the Washington, D.C. corporate swamp cabal all along. D.C. is now walled in and filled with military guard. President Donald J. Trump has moved out permanently, for he cannot be president over a sovereign nation in a foreign land, which is what the White House and Capitol are. President Trump was voted in by we the people, not the corporation. After Donald J. Trump exits the White House, D.C. will be locked down because it will not be possible for a foreign ruler to rule over a foreign country. Therefore, the foreign ruler must be locked out. In this case, that would be this new administration. Now you see what is meant by Linwood's shouts that we are in the second revolution. We are literally watching the reclaiming of the United States of America. What this means for we the people is many things. One of them is no more IRS. Watch and see how this plays out. It is a genius move. God is in charge of this nation and is now leading his elect to restore this great nation.
So there was some huge claims that were just made there. Starting off with, he was saying they're going to remove the illegitimate government because basically they were unconstitutionally inaugurated and elected. There was absolutely nothing legal about it. Now they're going to take down Washington. And then he added in, which, Brian from High Impact Flicks, that everybody wants to get rid of the IRS, right? Nobody wants to pay taxes, which of course nobody wants to pay taxes. It's not biblical. It's horrible, right? So basically that was the plan that was completely laid out. right? There's not much more that, Jason, what do you want to say about that? If you're back.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to wrap my head around all this because I wasn't expecting Biden to be sworn in, but he was. Well, I guess there is some question as to whether or not he was legally sworn in. So I shouldn't say he was sworn in. Maybe we'll find out it wasn't constitutional or something like that. So that's the narrative that we're talking about now, where there's still this pull the rug aspect to it. We're following the guys that are the lead conspirators on this topic, and we're seeing where it's going. Whether or not this is just another empty rabbit trail for conservatives to troll them harder, it could be, right? That's one of the possibilities, that this is just an extra troll against the conservative people. But I still believe that Trump, with all of there's so many different things. One, the way he's been used by mass media in the predictive programming through all the things like, Simpsons and stuff like that. But he's also on the Temple coin. He also was bailed out by the Rothschilds. He fits so many bills. He's got his 777. Everybody says God. When they say God, they're referring to Satan. God chose him. Remember, Aleister Crowley's book has the 777 on it. He's got the gematria of the chosen one. He said he's the chosen one. All these different aspects to me make me think that he's not out of the picture yet. We've been talking about biblically, we're expecting a sixth king, a seventh king that's around for just a short time, and then the eighth king is the sixth king again. So
okay, well, and I have to make yet another correction. The Bible that Kamala supposedly swore in on that we saw was a Thurgood Marshall Bible. A former Supreme Court justice gave it to her, so there's a backstory behind it. It's probably all satanically Kabbalah, all mixed all together. So I just wanted to clarify that that's what it was. I don't know how, and we know, with all of his extensive military training and intelligence and skills on research, wasn't able to find that the Bible was wrong, the chess move is a joke, and Camilla wasn't on a clutch or some device or whatever the thing that he was saying. It was actually a gift that was given to her from a Supreme Court justice, a Bible, right? Thurgood Marshall. So I wanted to say that. So now we're jumping to clips from No More News. He's got a YouTube channel called No More News Clips. Everybody that I'll put the links for the videos that we share in the description box below or in the comment, a pinned comment, so everyone can do their own research. But now we're going to go to the other side of what I was telling you earlier, the other side, the people that are anti-Q, what they're actually saying is going on. And this is this is going to be fun. So let's have some fun now for the rest of the hangout, and let's have a laugh. We've heard the Q side. Jason laid it out that he still believes that there's a possibility. I believe there's a slight chance. It would take a river of blood, right? All the satanic pedophiles, elite, all the people in charge right now are going to have to be sacrificed. And I really think that's going to be a really tough thing. I don't completely feel that they're going to pull it off. I'd love to see it. I don't want any satanic crap here, right? I don't want it. I want righteousness. So, Jason, what do you want to say before I move on?
let's move on.
Cui bono, who benefits from all this? And then look at who was behind it, which we're going to get into today. Trump repeatedly refused to denounce the QAnon conspiracies because they're his supporters. His people are involved with it. He lies. He knows all about it. They're laughing. They're laughing at how they're duping you. The 3D chess or the 6D chess was on the gullible patriots of America. Many of them just hopium addicts that like comforting lies, and they preyed upon their vulnerabilities. It's literally cult-like. They also connected so much of it targeted Christians. Many of these Q people pretended to be pastors, or, we're always tying religion into it as well.
Let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all...
The savior, Trump, as the Kabbalistic Moshiach ben Yosef, the Moshiach of Edom, as I showed you in my last video, when all the prophecies say and all the rabbis say Edom will be destroyed. He was the false controlled opposition leader that destroyed the legacy and the stain on America and Europeans and people that are America first. So much damage has been done. And I've been saying this for the last 4 years. Trump is the punching bag. He is the rag doll that all of the hatred and hostility was built up for white America. And now we're seeing it just unleashed.
Overall state that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
Imagine Trump, who watches Fox News religiously, is always on Twitter. You're trying to tell me he knows nothing about QAnon? He was always throwing little bones to QAnon. Well, I'll show you the article. Retweeting top QAnon peddlers. All his top allies are QAnon people, like the My Pillow guy who funded the Jericho March for stopping the steal a couple weeks ago. He's the Kufi attending Zionist Christian Mike Lindell, former crack addict, by the way. My Pillow guy. My Pillow guy, it came out yesterday that if you do promo code to buy his pillow, promo code QAnon, and you get 20% off. And he's going to pretend like he doesn't know about QAnon. He is a pathological lying fraud.
Come on, guys.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but
this stuff is
great.
great.
Doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is
if
a
you'd
satanic
like me
cult
to
run by the deep
study
state.
this, let me just tell you, what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia, and I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with it very
But there's not a satanic pedophile cult being run by.
I know nothing
You don't
about
know that? Okay.
No, I don't know
you
that.
Just this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay.
We all know, again, the device of Catholics, and they have decided that pedophilia is a cabal.
Okay, that's one of them. Come on, what's going on here?
I'm sorry.
All right, here's the other one.
I just want to point something out. You know, just so everybody knows, I think it was Lenin, a Bolshevik probably, right? Russian Bolshevik, I don't know. But he had said that the best way to control your opposition is to lead it. And what Jason and I had said long before, I think, anyone else, is that Trump was the head leader of the Democratic Satanic Kabbalist group. He was the top guy. He got the Tree of Life Award and all these other things.
Well, think about it. He was at Hillary's wedding, right?
Yes. And they had dinner together before he was elected with the Jesuits, right? This huge Jesuit thing. They were together.
New Yorker.
And from New York,
he comes out as a Republican.
And all of a sudden he switches. So the Hegelian dialectic has always been at play. They had a problem with people waking up to the fact that the Zionists were actually in control of everything. And what they did was they put a head Zionist in and pretended to be like an American first guy, when what he really was doing was crushing all the competition, silencing anyone who might go against the Zionist agenda. That's been Trump's play since day one. And I'll keep it going.
Ring the bell quick. Yeah, smash that bell, because that was a bell ringer.
The QAnon movement appears to me a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much.
So he doesn't know anything about them, but he knows they're against pedophiles. He knows they like him very much. He calls them patriots. He's just lying. This is plausible deniability, trying to give them the hat tip, throw them a bone.
Which I appreciate, but I don't know much about the movement. I have heard that it is gaining in popularity, and from what I've heard, these are people that when they watch the streets of Portland, when they watch what happened in New York City in just the last 6 or 7 months, what's going on, and they all...
It is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something?
Pedophiles and cannibals, right? That's really what we've got. We do literally have those types of people in this earth. Was it the Abrima Brabovich? She had this thing where they were actually eating cakes that looked exactly like people chopped up, and there was Lady Gaga. There was all these different Democrats and lefties partaking in this, literally pretending to be cannibals. Like,
and the Microsoft guy like made some sort of fancy commercial for her, right?
Spirit cooking commercial for a virtual reality, right? It wasn't anything, and that had to get pulled down the very same day that it went up. So all this stuff is real. So what they do is they put Trump up there. Look at his face. Look at the look on this guy's face. I wonder if Tucker coached him on that, right? He looks so concerned, to hear about this. Like, so hilarious.
Thing you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself.
You see, Trump totally plays into it. Oh, is QAnon such a bad thing? They think I'm going to save the world. Is it such a bad thing?
Out
Completely pandering to these people.
And we are, actually. We're saving the world from a radical left philosophy that will destroy.
Your parting gift, the best gift. Okay, we got this one now too as well.
With another extraordinary moment in this presidential election, there have been a few repeatedly upended by the pandemic. President Trump and Joe Biden held simultaneous.
About QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact.
General Flynn promoting QAnon, doing the QAnon pledge. Alex Jones and Jerome Corsi promoting it. He's just a complete fraud.
So I'm just going to switch for a second. So basically, you've heard all the different narrative that's going on here. And I guess we can skip ahead to the next clip. So, yeah, hopefully everybody's receiving this information, hearing from the other side that the whole thing was a staged psyop created so that they could actually take down any patriots, to stop the truth from being spread, to allow the satanic elite, the pedophiles, and people to thrive, right? That's the other angle that we're seeing here.
To co-opt the conservatives, right?
Well, and to profit too. We've got many people profiting. There's all these different QAnon people. They're very lucrative. They sold T-shirts, they sold swag, they like donations. They've got the creator involved in it supposedly, right? So there's so many things that are being played here all in one. Well, let's get on to this clip.
Told followers to arm themselves, calling January.
I believe this. Okay, no, this isn't the. We're gonna get a Alex Jones clip coming up.
6th Independence Day. This QAnon follower told.
This is the part where I want to call out Adam. 1 second. Adam seems to be an intelligent guy. He's able to run nice live streams. He puts together nice OBS graphics. He does a good job, right? How is he not able to see that this is absolutely, without a doubt, 1000% scripted, right? To me, when I see someone carry on the way that we're going to watch Adam Green for No More News carry on, I instantly have a red flag go up because his intelligence is way too high to think anything you're seeing on the news here. What is this, NBC? What's that logo, bro?
Yeah, the Peacock.
The Peacock. This is a television station which I just explained legally is allowed to lie under the repeal of the Smith-Mundt Act. All you have to do is Google that up and you're going to see what I'm talking about. They have the right to create fake news in order to mislead the enemy. That's the way that...
Brother, screen share, please.
For you? Oh, I'm not screen sharing? Thank you.
Yeah.
Good call. Who caught that? Someone in the chat? Good job, Mimi. Good job. Good job. Thank you. See, we're a team here. I'm glad I didn't get far into the clip without having to gabber on, but I really have to call Adam out here as someone that he's showing me like very low IQ. Someone who's supposed to be an intelligent researcher thinks this is real.
Told us she was at the Capitol riot and got to the steps.
We had a wonderful, wonderful gathering.
Another white supremacist.
Because every gathering of President Donald J. Trump, it's like going to church.
Going to church? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Did she really just read that line? So not only was the PSYOP set up to take down all the patriots, but also it was to take down churches, the scriptures, and your belief in they're demonizing any like Christian that might not be with the Zionists. So you got the True News crew.
There's all these fake evangelicals.
Fake evangelicals.
Set up for the takedown. They're in place to play that position.
You nailed it, bro.
Is QAnon dangerous for the United States?
It's like going to church. It literally is a cult religion.
The only reason it's dangerous because
Faith-based.
No, it literally is a set-up PSYOP being run by the U.S. military and intelligence services. It's always been that. I don't know why it's buffering.
Don't forget 8200.
Yeah, Unit 8200, which is the equivalency of the CIA in Israel, right? Got to give them shout-outs.
Prophecies and stuff and Messiah.
Yeah, we see you. We see you, 8200.
And messianic ages.
because the people that are the liars and the thieves from this country, President Trump speaks the way I speak, the truth.
This fall, the Department of Homeland Security warned in its annual assessment that domestic violent extremists could mobilize quickly to engage in violence after the 2020 presidential election. The agency calling the groups the most persistent and lethal threat to the homeland, Savannah.
The most lethal threat, the Zionist-controlled PSYOP, now that they're using as the justification to crack down on everybody. This is interesting. Insider news. We looked through hours of footage from the Capitol riot to decode the symbols that Trump supporters brought with them, revealing some ongoing threats to U.S. democracy. Number one, does anybody remember any of the media going through all the footage and zooming in on all of the logos and the signs of Antifa and BLM as they were causing chaos and burning down police stations and savagely beating up people in the streets? Killing people, running people over, all types of stuff like that? No, they say, oh, it's mostly peaceful, and they give them billions of dollars, and they don't disavow it, and they say Antifa, that they're just an idea. They're not an organization, they're an idea. The ADL basically supports Antifa, says that it's a hate symbol to be anti-Antifa.
Well, so not only do they support Antifa, but they also support the evangelicals, right? So they're playing both sides. Right, Adam's not telling you that completely, but he is admitting that, you know, the George Soros Ashkenazi funded left is also ipso de facto controlling the evangelical side as well. Right, the same guys, like the guy that showed up with Austin Steinbart. He's been super memed. He had the beard and he had the Volknot, which is Adam No More News' new logo, which is a shout out to Odin, which is who they refer to as God. All this just comes right back around.
Smash the bell, please. Thank you.
Because Antifa, as we know, all the headlines show you is Jews. And I have to. I feel like I can't say anything like that without actually showing it, because the Yiddish roots of Antifa. Because then the ADL will call me an anti-Semitic.
At least he got it right. They are Yiddish. That's true.
Conspiracy theorists for just showing the original Antifa was a Jewish anti-Nazi militia. The original Antifa were Jews in New Jersey. Do it. Now watch this.
Looking more closely at the scenes of insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, we started noticing dozens of symbols everywhere.
Okay, I see something in the comments that I just have to respond to. Q did wake up tens of millions of people, or Q did put out some good information. Complete insanity, complete nonsense. It got you stuck in limited hangout disinformation, worshiping the Zionist pawn president. Stop saying that nonsense. QAnon was a disaster.
The details of what people
Look, America first. Don't tread on me.
wore and carried revealed a deeper story about possible future threats.
Q, where we go one, where we
combed
go
through
all.
hours of footage.
And again, the where we go one, we go all, we've pointed out time and time again, is actually the same oath that the fallen angels took, right? And the blood over intent ritual that all these people on the internet did was also, they were ushering in to heal and to save everyone. The people that the scriptures clearly state that they don't get saved. No. We don't go one, we don't go all. That's absolutely the furthest thing from the truth. So anyone saying that isn't reading the scriptures. And that's all of the Q movement. Like, I don't know how people don't see that the where we go one thing, and they all did it as a ritual, like General Flynn, all these military people, right? Freemasonic.
Exactly.
And found evidence of a complex network of groups driven by conspiracy theories, white
supremacies and conspiracy theories. The storm is here. Trump won, Biden lost. So the storm is here. This is the storm that they were hyping for 3 years.
Supremacy, and a Trump-infused brand of Christianity.
We love you. You're very special.
As some tried to break open Capitol doors, these men pushed their way through the mob, wearing yellow logos on their jackets. The Oath Keepers.
So it's funny because we remembered seeing absolutely everybody was filming. So now we're starting to see clips from who was filming. We got the ones from True News, ding, ding, ding. And now we're seeing the clips that are coming off of these channels, right? These people are starting to play their footage, and they've got all the different angles where they've captured all these symbols, and they're going to lay it all out. These are all the new terrorists, all the supposed patriots. But we both know that it was hired on both sides. The crisis actors they'll be Antifa one day, and then they'll be Trump supporters the next day. All they have to do is change their outfit. That's all they did, right? It's ridiculous that we're actually looking at this and Adam's taking this as serious, right? These are the QAnon people that did this. No, the regular QAnon people actually wanted good things to happen. They were there. They spent their money to go there, and then they went home. They didn't storm through. Why would anybody break in to a procedure that was in the point of just starting to turn over and look into the evidence that they were there to protest for? You're going to stop them from looking at the evidence. It was the most asinine, disgusting thing. I was sick to my stomach when we covered it, and I just had to bring that up right here, right now, that this was all staged. It was all fake, and it was all brought to you by the same two sides of the bird, the same two sides. It's still the same coin, whether you're one or the other, whether you're a Antifa or a patriot QAnon follower. You were used in a psyop to, bring the destruction of truth down, right? The election was fraudulently done. We're in a blue city, and Biden couldn't even drive. They had a bus drive through on a highway just 20 minutes from here, and they were surrounded by Trump vehicles with flags. Like, I live here. I seen there was so much support. The entire country, most of it, was all for Trump. They stole the election. They stole the House. They stole the Senate. All this is true, and it's all been done with staged fake actors on both sides. Now, Adam's given it like legitimacy that these QAnon people, he's going to go into the woman that was shot. Again, all fake, all hoax. They had to kill her so that they could have the outrage, so that they could say, no, after the outrage, someone was killed, right? They didn't have to shoot her. It's retarded. And it was so stupid. There's a guy in the clip that literally yelled that it was a flashbang. We're not at that point yet, but I just really have to bang home the truth that both of these sides were fake. It's all a show. You live in a world that's a big stage. And Adam, again, how could you not call that out? I thought this guy was supposed to be like 8200 top elite intelligence, right? High level computer technology company. Like, he can't even see that?
No, he has to just take one side of the narrative here and there. He can't go outside of the narrative. So it's obvious the people were let in, and the people that were let in were the people with cameras that were a part of the staged event. It was all filmed. It was all fake. And it's done to the level where it's ridiculous for a person that actually looks at the truth. Like, when you see it, you should be offended by it, that this can be passed off. But he said it himself, this will pass among the masses, that they will just eat it up and accept it. It's so gross. It drives me nuts.
Keepers are one of the largest anti-government militia organizations in the U.S. today, and they claim to have tens of thousands of law enforcement officers and military veterans in their ranks.
I remember Oath Keepers, the head of it, Stuart Rhodes. He was just at the Jericho March, the Zio Fest. He gave a speech there. He also used to be a frequent guest on Alex Jones.
So he's willing to admit that they have Zionist connections, but he's not willing to admit that they're running a psyop for the Zionists. Right? He doesn't make that connection. He just, they're Zionists. But he's not saying that they're actually trying to destabilize the country. Well, he is, but he does it in such a way. I guess I'm just picking at nothing here.
They vow to protect us on display. The
Gadsden flag. Okay. Oops. All right. Next we have
playing rap music.
A timeline of Trump's QAnon presidency. Dua Lipa down.
I think we can go to the next link. Oh no, not yet. I'm gonna scroll through and find where he talks about the woman that was shot. Oh, Alex Jones section. Is this it? Yeah, we got to watch this. Here we go.
The march that he essentially led, although I will give him, I'll be honest, there's video of Alex Jones saying, don't.
Here he is actually laying the foundations that Alex Jones was there, but he was saying, let's not go and break into the Capitol building. So he's the anti-Alex Jones guy that wanted to be on Alex Jones's show. He tried out for a position, apparently didn't get it, but then was on the show debating Owen Schroyer about the fact that Jones and Schroyer were Zionist puppets working for the Mossad for 8200. But here he's actually laying down cover saying that the Alex Jones team was actually stating that don't go, it's a psyop, right? They're the good guys now. Can you believe this?
Cause violence, pull back, whatever. Still, all of his rhetoric, all of his incendiary rhetoric the last few years, all of his calls for martial law and to round up all the Democrats, and now they're hailing him as the anti-Q voice and saying, oh, he's the voice of reason is how they're branding it. Here is Alex Jones promoting QAnon and then lying about his early involvement getting QAnon rolling.
I didn't mean to go on that rant earlier. I was thinking how much the Q stuff's driven me up the wall and how much it pisses me off, and how then I got accused of supposedly supporting that stuff because it leaks.
He got accused of supposedly supporting it. He's likely talking about me because I had several videos that got lots of views on Twitter showing that he did support and legitimize QAnon big time.
Into my show, and then being accused of being part of that because I've got an organization and what my other shows do. And I was separately told this by QAnon. So I'm going to say again, I've talked to QAnon. QAnon is totally real, as Zach and our, Cape Canaveral sources and Space Command sources have pointed out. And people make jokes about that, but that's the 18th agency. You're here. This is big. QAnon. I know you know QAnon's identity.
No, this is Jerome Corsi. He used to write for WorldNet Daily, which is Joseph Farah's Zionist media organization. Literally, Zionist award-winning, proud Zionist Joseph Farah, WorldNet Daily. Jerome Corsi is also a Christian Zionist. He is a member of the Council for National Policy, founded by Tim LaHaye, the left-behind end-time Zionist fanatic. He claims that he gets text messages from above Israeli intelligence. He talks about having Orthodox Jewish contacts, and he was an early promoter of QAnon, decoding the Q drops, and then he was hired by Alex Jones to be the Washington correspondent for InfoWars, and he was busted with Roger Stone declassified emails of them colluding with Jerusalem contact who said, Trump will lose if we don't intervene. The intel is in your hands. This is Jerome Corsi.
But yes, obviously we're not going to, and I've confirmed as well, QAnon is a group in the Pentagon.
Oh, so you never supported QAnon, but here you are on video saying QAnon is a group in the Pentagon very close to Trump. I mean, Jones shouldn't be able, nobody should let him live this down. All of these QAnon frauds should never show their face again.
So yeah, he takes a really strong standpoints on that whole topic. So Alex Jones definitely has evidence of flip-flopping from, completely promoting the Q psyop to now denouncing it, right? Just like any bandwagoner would. But this is just a quick clip of the supposed, because Adam was saying in his podcast that this was like horrible. She was a real QAnon person and she was killed. And then we've got this clip.
Sit down!
Okay, I just want to point out right there that that guy that was there was telling everyone calm down. It was just a flashbang, right? So there's no doubt in my mind that they ran that psyop so that they could have the outrage, so that the, senators could then flip from saying, yes, we need to look into this election fraud. Now, all of a sudden, there's no election fraud. It was a horrible terrorist act that the QAnon Trump people performed, right? So then we've got, moving on to the Steve Pieczenik clip. This is another guy who, has been putting out the Q drops as well. Actually, I think we can go to... I think we got a clip here from High Impact Flicks to finish it out.
Of society.
I got involved in the Q movement because God gave me dreams about Q. And he's like, I want you to focus on this. You need to learn. I'm going to red pill you about corruption.
100% Donald Trump is going to be your president the next 4 years.
Donald Trump will continue to be the president of the United States for the next 4 years. There's no doubt in my mind. When I'm asked on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the scale that you put that Trump will be the next president? I say 10, without a doubt. That is the truth.
The accusation that Q is hope porn is fine. That Q has predicted a lot of events that did not come to pass the way people expected them to, or the way that Q kind of predicted that they would. However, I've done as much research on Q probably as anyone. And I'm going to be releasing a series of books on Q.
A new look at everything. With Trump staying in the White House, it might be a great time to look at Noble Gold's security option.
Or the good guys, the white hats, still have control of the military, and the team that has been supporting Trump for real is getting ready to enact some type of martial law, maybe through the Insurrection Act, in order to once and for all round up the bad guys. Hopium alert, right? I know. Believe me, my carafe of hopium had run dry. But I have reasons to believe that the evidence I'm seeing adds up to possibly good news. Possibly the storm is upon us, and we should see action within the next 10 days. I know, who knows? I could be wrong, but well, we'll see. I'll show you as we go along.
7 days. Let me repeat it again, Jones. It's going to be Trump. It will not be Biden. Biden's people will be arrested.
And it will again, because China Joe Biden will never, ever be president.
If you don't understand military deception, the military's use of disinformation and distraction, you'll never understand what Q is all about. What if the arrests have already happened? People are waiting for these people to be arrested. Well, I got news for you. They've already signed guilty pleas. It's not a question of when are they going to be arrested. They've already signed a guilty plea. They entered into the investigation, and now they're cooperating. They're cooperating because they want to get a light sentence. When they're going to be arrested is irrelevant. They've already signed admitted guilt. So if you think they're not going to be taken down, they've already admitted to their guilt. So don't worry about that.
This all played into the hands of the controllers as the real powers that shouldn't be transferred wealth and accumulated unbridled power. Operation Trust, like Operation Trust the Plan, mentally neutered the believers in this seemingly new paradigm and rendered them inactive and ineffective while they continued to clamor for the chains of their own oppression. And there's one more very dangerous layer of deception and confusion these operations accomplish. In launching this kind of mind control technique, the social engineers successfully maligned the truth in the minds of those who otherwise could have had the veil of lies wiped away from their eyes. By fabricating and weaving outlandish tales and pinning them on what they label fringe or extremist or far-right groups, the psychological operators accomplished the major objective of rewriting the minds of those who didn't get sucked into the operations narrative. Because those people who view the group from the outside want nothing to do with that group and consider them to have no truth at all. This leads to the masses being okay with and even calling for broad spectrum censorship, even on themselves, in order to save society from what they call dangerous hate speech and incitements to violence. Through operations like these, the majority of the people become utterly incapable of recognizing and distinguishing between what is true and what is false. In their minds, if the group that fell for the psychological operation says anything, it's all false, even though a lot of what they say is true. So discernment is neutralized, truth is cast to the ground, and the authoritarians win because everybody else is just too polarized to take a stand against their true oppressors. Now, hope can be a good thing, a very good thing. It can get you by when all seems lost. Unfortunately, hope can be easily exploited to the possessor of that hope's own detriment. Those who rest on hope can be conned into rejecting reality and set aside truth while grasping for fables. And those who sell hopium are the exploiters of this natural desire to hope. So stop believing man. Start standing on principle. Realize that there are evil people in this world who want to control and rob you. They want you to look to and call for a leader. They want you to beg for a ruler to rule over not only you, but others you don't even know. And when you do this, they know that you stand there defenseless, demoralized, and open to their exploitation. The only way we stop evil is to stop voting for it, stop feeding it, and stop allowing it to rule us.
All of those words are absolutely true, except they're coming from a satanic standpoint. What Brian is, he has the overstanding ability to give you the narrative, right? The Hegelian dialectic is they want you to do as thou will. They want to take these things to this next level. The externalization of the hierarchy is what Adam and Brian and their whole team, they work together. Everyone who's watching, they are working towards the pure Luciferian doctrine, right? And we are headed that way. The scriptures do predict it. Everything that he said was true there. So tonight we gave you guys a bit of both sides, what the possibilities could be as far as the pulling of the rug before March 4th. There's still that betting date that we're bringing up. That's interesting. All the other stuff about what happened during the inauguration was all interesting to look at. And what we had said earlier when we did What's Next podcast, what are we going to do now, right? We did say that we were going to continue to research and find the truth. And these are the newest things that are popping up now. I'm not telling you guys to take one side or the other. I'm just showing you the evidence, and we can then use our own discernment to find the path forward. I really appreciated everyone being here tonight. I thought it was a great podcast. We're approaching 10 o'clock. So Jason, I'll let you take us out with your thoughts. And thank you to everyone in the chat. We loved having you here. Please leave a comment below.
I would just like to say I thought Ronnie was on fire tonight. I thought his breakdowns were super on point. And I really sort of didn't need to be here or say anything. You pretty much nailed it, bro. And what he said, we're going to keep doing. And we tend to lose people on Sunday nights when we do Spiritual Sunday. I'm sad about that. But chances are Sunday night we'll be doing some sort of Spiritual Sunday. And thank you everybody for joining. It was fantastic. I thought it was a great night, and we'll see you all soon. Go Team Yahushai.
Actually, just a last correction there. I don't think we're going to be live this Sunday. If anything takes place, we might be, but we might take this one off and just rest. All right. Yeah, we might be back Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. I would say for sure Wednesday. But if there's something that takes place that we have to cover, we'll always be back.
All right. Yeah, it could be Wednesday. Good call.
Yeah, just to point that out. Sorry, Jason, I should have prefaced you with that statement.
Yeah.
I was thinking it, but I didn't ended up saying it. Oh, thank you everyone in the chat again. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Go Team Yahushua.